Hello. It has been a very long time since I have sat down and recorded anything. I've been on a very busy and fun and liberating just month. I've not had to pay rent for like 2 weeks. That's really just it. I can bawl like really hard because I'm not paying bills, but also, hi. Also, subconsciously, your girl was hit pretty hard. I don't know how else to say it. I'm not really playing the victim card because that's literally like the problem is I refused to, but I kind of needed to. But somebody close to me said some things like a month ago, and I didn't realize it until I had been pushing away every single thing that I'm like meant to do in this world, just because I was being really bogged down by the way that person made me feel. And your girl's over it. She's been getting over it, but it just took a month of thinking that everything was peachy keen for me to realize that it just kind of wasn't, Happens to everybody. But I'm back, and I'm going to make, this is no tarot. I'm just going to let Pachamama do her thing. Also, if I sound different, it's because I've been going on a very transformative journey. I really don't know how else to put it. Like, there's been some deep changes in my character and in my just all around vibe. And it has to do with just the things that I've been experiencing this past month and that I've been going through. Like, I've just attained this level of bliss that I just didn't even think was possible. And one of the hardest things for me to even comprehend about the whole thing is that I'm still getting kept up all night and trying to have to like force myself to relax and fall asleep to really comprehend the fact that like things are really just going great for me right now. Like, too well, honestly, like too fucking well. And it's almost like too good to be true. So anybody else that is in that level with me, like, bless. It's a great place. Just bliss, no cares. Yeah. All I have to say is like my energy before this was like crackhead. Like, I was always moving like 12 out of 10 speed. Mentally, physically. I just wouldn't stop. So now that I have stopped, let's get to the readings. Okay. Group number 1. Group number 1, we're just going to go off of what comes to my head, is going to be the Ruby group. Group number 2 is going to be the PLUM group. Group number 3 is going to be ALOE. So Ruby, PLUM, and ALOE. Okay. I want everybody to take 2 seconds to start breathing. Slow down your mind. Clear your mind. Ha! Wah, wah, wah. I'm just kidding. But for real, slow down and just get into a mentality of like observation. Don't take anything that I'm saying as like, don't just run away with it and like have all these ideas of what you think it means. Just let it kind of take you away, Okay. Group number 1. You are somebody who is very refined. And Spirit wants you to know that you've been a little too hard on yourself. There's this voice in your head that is just being very critical to yourself. It's very nitpicky, like, oh, I can't go out because that one shirt is not clean. That makes me look perfect, you know? It's this voice of, like, perfection and that need to be perfect, that desire to be perfect. Spirit says you need to be more lighthearted about yourself, and that'll reflect in your life. Once you really start to lighten up and ease up those thoughts, like, you know what, maybe I don't have to look so put together all the time. You know what, maybe it's okay to have a stain on my shirt. Maybe it's okay to not be on time to everything. Maybe it's okay to fuck up. You know, maybe you've messed up in the past. And I think that's just one way that this is subconsciously affecting you. You did something in the past that you just really, I wouldn't even say you regret, because, you know, hashtag no regrets. Shit's gonna happen. It's just gonna happen. We can't do anything about it. But there's some shit that you did in the past that you're just really not proud of. And it's not like you're reliving in that, or you're, like, putting all that guilt on yourself. You're just, like, subconsciously, you're just feeling the need to always be perfect. Because, you know, deep down, you're not. Nobody is. It's something you just have to embody. We're all people, you know, we are all humans. We all fuck up. It's in our nature. And you just gotta bounce back. And just, you know, sometimes other people too, like external people, will try to, like, act like they know you, or act like they know the situation or whatever you went through or who you are, even just based on the past or your mistakes. But one of the biggest things about coming out of that type of situation of fucking up is being able to know that that's not you, and to embody that that is not you. And if somebody tries to hit a low blow and hit you in the past, you need to be able to just be like, well, that's the past. You don't deserve me in your life if you see me that way, or if you're gonna hang that over my head, you know. And really deeply embodying that, so that when people come at you with that shit, you don't feel shame, you feel empowered. You know, people can say a low blow, and instead of you getting hurt, you can just be like, well, thank you for showing me how far I've come from that time. You know, thank God I am where I am now and not there anymore. And if somebody can't handle that, and, you know, they want to act like that's still you, that's something in them, period. That is not something in you. Cannot let the type of shit really put up your bubble there. I definitely am already resonating with this very heavily, like, I feel that. And sometimes you really won't even know that you're hurt by it until it's, like, way later, and you've just been pushing away. And it's, like I was saying earlier, that subconscious reaction. Now you're always feeling the need, like, there's something wrong. There's always something wrong. I'm never going to be just there. But deep down, you just need to acknowledge it's never going to be, never will be perfect. There's no such thing. You know? You need to really fully forgive yourself for what you did. You know, people can forgive you, or they won't. But it's up to you to really, like, forgive yourself in order to be able to move on. other people can move on with their lives, but it's going to linger in there unless you deal with it. And no, that doesn't mean like relive it every day, but like you do have to be able to accept, really deeply accept and embody that you did make a mistake. And that you really forgive yourself for that mistake. Like, you can't just keep beating yourself over the head with it. Yeah, Spirit says you've been on this journey of like trying to feel satisfaction, however that manifests in your life. In everyone's life, that's going to manifest differently. We all look for satisfaction in different things. We all see different things as satisfaction. And you've, for a really long time, felt like something's missing from your life, like something's not there that you desire, that you want. There's a piece missing. And Spirit is trying to tell you that there's nothing missing from your life. You have everything that you need. Everything that you really do need that you don't have is coming your way, and you know that. But that feeling of emptiness will only go away once you deal with this, this self-loathing. It's a very like self-critical energy. You have to really embody the fact that you're never going to be perfect. There's no such thing. There's no such thing as perfect. You need to be, and you'll find a lot more joy and a lot more happiness in your life once you do that. Spirit says that there's been this like significant drag in your energy. Like you've just not really been able to laugh wholeheartedly like you used to. It's a lot of inner child work that this is going to bring about. You really, once you let go of all of these limitations, you start to realize, wow, not everything has to be so serious. Not everything has to be so like when you're constantly picking at yourself, that's just, it's like the embodiment of like a teacher that's really strict and has a lot of rules. You know, life's a lot more fun when you don't have so many rules, you know? And you're really going to start to embody that and feel that energy once you do this work. Once you really clear your head of those bullshit thoughts that you just don't need in there anymore. All those like self-critical jabs, you know, once that's gone, there's just balls to the wall energy, you know? You'll have a lot more fun. You'll be a lot more fun to be around, Spirit wants to say too. Okay, my foot is falling asleep, so we got to readjust. Group number 2, the PLUM energy. Spirit immediately is drawing me to the energy of protection, like protecting yourself, like not necessarily defending yourself in like a argumentative type of way, like defending yourself, but just internally, you know, if somebody says something that makes you feel kind of like, wow, okay, maybe I should speak out and defend why that's not true. Instead of that, you're just kind of like, it's more of like an internal defense. Like hearing somebody say something that you know is not true and you've never given them a reason to think that about you, and just being able to be like, well, I am secure, I am protected, I am not that, and the people that value me and that I value know that about me. And if, just kind of having that internal protection. So when somebody says something, you don't take it as, what have I done to like make them think that about me? Instead, you're just in a state of like, oh, I'm good, I'm perfectly fine. It's very self-protecting. Not even needing to externally verbalize defending yourself, but internally knowing, like, you know what, I'm just above this. And that's just something in them. If they cannot see that about me, because maybe you are that kind of person that when somebody hits you with some like sideways shit, instead of just either the yang to that yin and just being completely defensive and like, oh, that would never be me, like, and then saying all this hyper defensive shit, that, or the yin to the yang, which is like taking it to heart, like, oh, is that true? Like, do I really do that? Am I really like that? Or if I'm not, what am I doing that's showing that? You really start to point the, like, I'm picturing like a looking glass. It's almost like you're pointing it on yourself. Whenever somebody says something, you just immediately think, oh, well, what did I do? How could I have avoided this? It's a very much like egocentric, not like full of yourself ego, but like the need to control. You feel like you really feel like deep down, anything said about you, anything about your reputation, you really think that you have every ounce of control over that. And I understand that. Because, there are people that will do so much in their life that just validates these things about their characters so heavily. But I'm here to say, no matter what you do externally, somebody will come at you sideways at some point in your life. And you just got to accept that, it's not anything about you, first of all, or anything that you could have done to avoid that. I mean, it happens to everyone. Whether you're like this all the time or just situationally, there's always moments where we really do feel like we need some level of validation from other people. It's like, there's an extent of like, okay, I know all of this about myself, and whoever doesn't believe in that doesn't believe in it, whoever doesn't see it doesn't see it, whatever. But then there's also that level of, I don't really believe this is something about me unless I've proved it so many times that people can validate it for me. That's really the energy that I'm getting. And you need to step outside of that. Because I'm here to say, the more that you do to show people all these things about you, the more they will discredit that. And I'm not saying everyone, but the grand majority. That's why you can't look from external standpoints. Because no matter how much you do to credit yourself through somebody else's eyes, they're always going to be the first ones to discredit that. You have to be able to just be secure in that, in yourself. Like, well, I don't need anybody else's validation. I can accredit myself to all of these things that I'm proud of and that I've done and that I've worked hard for in my character and my person. This is all not, anything outside of deep personal character and spirit. Spirit for sure. Like, we all have a spirit animal. We all have this little, I like to say, like the light, the gem inside of us that makes us different from everyone else. So I don't fuck with zodiacs. Zodiacs are one of 12 boxes. Well, there's a lot more people in the world than just like 12 groups, Everyone's different. We all have this differentness in us. And lots of people will not see that. And you need to really embody that. Few people will ever actually open their eyes to that light inside of you. Most people just have their pre-existing thoughts already there. And you need to really get out of the idea that you are in control of how people see you. Hi. I'm just going to be done with that. Honestly, I feel like that one's done. So yeah. Honestly, because I completely lost my train of thought after that, but like, I'm going to go with it. Okay. Group 3. ALOE. Okay. This is my group. You are on a journey of building your foundation, building stability in your life. And lately, you've actually been really feeling. You're not just sending those, I want stability. You're feeling the stability coming into your life. You're feeling the lack of chaos and the structure in your day-to-days. That ain't some Tennessee shit. I don't know what else is. This giant truck just started doing donuts. There's like a fat dust cloud. But any whore, and there she goes. There goes my train of thought. Journey of stability. Okay, so you're feeling the structure kind of start to kick in. I'm guessing that has to do with a lot of routine. Things are not feeling so new anymore. They're starting to routinize, habitualize, however you would like to word it. Hi. Aw, what a cute little baby. Oh, that's so cute. But anyways, again, okay. So as things are starting to sort of settle down in your life, things are starting to feel more comfortable, more habit, not so like difficult anymore, I guess. Things are becoming very easy. But at the same time, well, first of all, you've been feeling a shitload of anxiety because of this. Because this group is definitely a lot like me in the sense where, like, the second that things are cozy, it's like uncomfortable. Like, it's one of those like, all right, what's next type of energies. Like, you've been having a lot of subconscious thoughts that are just kind of freaking you out, and you consolidate them at the same time. You definitely immediately shut them down as they happen, but it doesn't make them any less crippling. Almost, it's like your mind is trying to convince you that something's going to go wrong. Yeah, and you're just kind of like, no, things are good, things are just good, and then you'll just have more little but you know, the spirit wants you to know, stop feeling that anxiety. You know, if you're looking for some sort of like something's going to happen, spirit is saying cut that shit out. Nothing's gonna happen, you know. Things are just peachy. And you know what? The reason you feel like something might be coming wrong here soon is because you can almost, like, in a very metaphysical sense, it's almost like there's a lot of things going on around you that are really chaotic, that are kind of stirring the pot of stress, you know. But you're really finding ways to stay above it. You know, anything that's happened to you that seems like, oh, this might tip you over, This might stress you out. You've been like really battling the idea of like, no, maybe I can just do it. Maybe it's not a big deal. And you've been getting through those little things. So now that, you know, this bliss is coming, you're still getting those anxious thoughts. And Spirit wants you to know to just like envision a little bridge. You know, anytime you feel like, oh, there's some shit going on in the external, it's not going to affect me, but it is kind of stressing me out. Find a way to distance yourself from that, you know? Because subconsciously and metaphysically, you're taking any little thing that could cause stress to you as a reason to further convince yourself that, oh, something's going to go wrong, more shit's going to go down, something's really going to fucking go wrong, you know? But it's just not. You're not living fully. You're not living your life 100% when you're stuck in all this fear and doubt. And that's what Spirit wants you to realize. Like, you're enabling yourself. You're not allowing yourself to really wallow in the blissful period that you're in right now because you're so scared that something's going to happen. When nothing is, and it's just calm. Shit's just going well. It's literally like how I started this video. Like, shit's just going well. And just remember, just keep that envisioning in your mind anytime that something happens, that it's not a full setback, but it is some shit. You know what I mean? It's not like something you're really gonna have to pay for, but it doesn't make it suck any less. You know, that type of shit. Anytime that happens, just remember, you know, this is nothing. I got this. What's next? You know, that little bubbling fear, that little, oh my God, something really bad's gonna happen. Get rid of that. Just deal with the small shit and realize it's just some small shit. It's nothing. It's nothing to worry about. It's literally like the energy of being a kid. I mean, you need to like parent that kid. That kid is that voice that's trying to like drive you nuts and make you think that everything's gonna go so wrong, when in all reality, it's just fine. Shit is peachy. We are peachy. And I think that's how I'm gonna leave this. Nice and quick, but effective. Well, I hope all of this resonated. Namaste. I just want you to know that what goes in my mind every time I just do this, it's usually me thinking like, oh, let's make this whole little like outro speech, cause YouTube. And then the real me is like, fuck that, just leave. Nobody gives a shit, you know? YouTubers be so extra, and I'm like, alright, you need to be extra too. No.